Welcome to the Four Rings Inn for another episode of City of Shadows. In our homebrew world of Ethereum. I am John, and I will be your innkeeper for this tale of horror. And with me are our wonderful storytellers.
I'm Aubrey, and I play Count Heir Eleanor Quillen.
I'm Jacob, and I play Viscount Heir Renshaw Tyrval.
Hi, I'm Victoria, and I am playing Oriana Lunaris of the Ashen Order.
So, are you ready for a scary story? We return to Quillen Keep in the study of Florian Quillen, the Count of the hosting the Equinox Ball. On the second floor within her study, our three highborns stand amidst a gruesome scene of blood and death. Unknown to any of the other members of this party. Your poor party, all the planning you did.
Pretty party. Now there's a dead body.
Now there's a dead body here. Based on your passive investigations and perceptions, this is what you see. Lying supine on the floor is the corpse of a human woman soaked in blood. Her eyes bulge out at you in horror, her mouth agape, supported only by strands of crimson sinew that stretch from her jaw where her cheeks used to be. The front of her chest, her deep maroon cloak, is soaked through with blood and bile. At her feet is a candle, a pile of ashes, and a purple banner embroidered with a tree and a rune in the center of the trunk, the Tyrval house crest. All wreathed around this woman with bones and vines and twigs. To your left is Florian's desk, which has been hastily pushed aside, knocking over her chair. Most of the contents of the desk have been strewn about. The chairs and the rug have all been pushed to the right up against the bookshelves to make room on the floor for this horrific ritual. The other large furniture in the room, the bookcases, the display case with all the art and trinkets and busts, and the closet are all undisturbed. Flecks of blood and gore are spewed against the window and the wall that the woman is currently facing. Eleanor and Oriana, with your passive perception and investigation, you see this as well. On the far wall from you, the large painting of the Ink Tributary has been shifted, revealing that the left side is hinged and the right side separates from the wall slightly. To your left, behind the desk, a window has been opened, and a slight breeze blows through the curtains. And Eleanor, the hair on the back of your neck stands up as you can't help but feel that you are being watched in this room.
Ooh.
What would you guys like to do?
I think knowing that someone's in the room, after I've already screamed, I'm just gonna be like, who's there? What have you done?
There is no response from the body or from anything else in the room. The only sound is that faint whistle coming from the window of the wind.
Yeah, the minute that I notice the window is open, I want to sprint to that side of the room and look out the window to see if I can catch anybody leaving, because we just heard footsteps a second before Eleanor unlocked the door.
Yeah. Sure. Give me you can give me an investigation check if you're looking, a perception check if you're looking out into the night. You give me that with disadvantage because it is dark out.
That wasn't a good first roll.
Oh no.
Wasn't even a great second roll. A nat 1.
Ooh.
Oh,
You look out. It is dark. You can see that out front there are a bunch of the servants that are fixing the um, carriage of the Kimbridges. You can see that they've pulled it off to the side. They're fixing it. And on a nat 1, as you come to the window, you push it open a little bit, and one of the people working, the servants working on the carriage, looks up and sees you in the window. They don't do anything, but you make eye contact with them before they go back to
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
mhm.
Great. Awesome. Okay.
Okay.
Uh,
So we've been seen.
I'm going to go let the guards know to not let anyone leave the building.
Okay, for sure.
Oh, are we sure that's wise?
Venture.
Hold on. The minute you alert them that something is wrong, we won't be the only ones in this room anymore.
Well, the guards should know the murderer's still here.
Yeah, and your name is written all over this.
Well, obviously it wasn't me. I've alerted the guards.
Venture. I don't want anyone to know about this.
Okay.
Whoever. Oriana, can you shut the curtain?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna shut the door so we're like in here. Do I still feel like there are eyes watching me?
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna just mouth it. Oh shit, no, they can see me. I'm gonna grab Renshore's hand and pull him over to Oriana. And so we're all like kind of like huddled in
Sure.
and whisper as low as I can. Someone is watching.
Okay.
Renshore, what do you want to do about that banner? That's your family name tied directly to this. Are you leaving it?
I mean, yeah. It's obviously not me. No one's like, oh yeah, this is who killed that person.
But it is your family.
Why would they leave the banner? It's obviously a ploy. Who's this woman?
Renshaw, if anyone were to see this banner, scandal would befall your family, even if they do not suspect it as you. You will be associated with a corpse. Clearly, one of the Moors has come and attacked in my home during my party. No one can know of this.
Okay.
Not yet. We will take care of it, but
I feel like you guys are being way more suspicious than me. And my name is written on it.
I was just making a point, and it's your decision.
I feel like
Renshaw,
y'all are trying to hide the body.
I don't think we should touch the body at all. I mean, professionals do need to look at this at some point. I just want to make sure our story is clear when they enter the room.
We entered the room, found a dead body, and hung out here for way too long, is our story.
Renshaw, you do know that the last known person
Yeah,
in this
I know.
room was
My
your
dad.
Yeah.
My dad hates open windows.
The last person who had the key was Eleanor's mother.
the window is open. Whoever was in this study, both of our parents have left. They locked the door, and someone has snuck in through this window and attempted a dark, horrid ritual. I would like to
Do you think?
look around for someone, whatever I can feel is watching me. I want to try to pinpoint its location.
Sure. Yeah. Give me a perception check.
When Eleanor is done, my next move is going to be to investigate the body without touching it, but to see if I can identify who it is. Do I recognize it? Are there any identifiable features on her when Eleanor's done?
Deal.
That's a 15.
A 15. You look around. You can see that from an obvious standpoint, no, there's nobody else in this room with you. As you look around, from where you're standing, you know that you cannot see behind the desk. You know that you cannot see behind the largest couch, and you cannot see into the closet. And you clock those are the only spots that even a small someone as short statured as a gnome would be able to be in this room and not be immediately seen. And so those three spots you catch.
Do you think someone broke the spoke to distract the servants so they could climb up through the window?
I want to start looking at the body.
Deal. Oriana, give me a investigation check.
17.
17, wow. So, you kneel down in front of the body. You notice that the woman is tensed up, and in one of her hands, there's a crushed piece of paper, tightly in her fist. You see on a 17, you notice that the rune on the trunk of the Tyrvald tree is different. You've been in the Tyrvald household plenty of times. You're very familiar with the house crest. The tree is identical. The location of the rune is identical, but the actual rune there and the runes in the tree are different. Are you fluent in runes? Can you read runes?
No.
So yeah, you do not know what it says, but you can see that you recognize immediately the runes are different. As you move, you notice that the ashes in front of the body are still warm to the touch as you move over them. The only time that you have seen ash this fine is when it is made when something is burned incredibly quickly and when it's done by magical fire. And then, in addition, you move to the body. Again, you see her mouth hanging agape. Her eyes are bulging out in fear. As you look at her, there is a lot of blood, but you do not see any other wounds on her person. It is just the jaw. And then you notice that the cloak that she's wearing, that deep maroon, although soaked in blood, is devoid of any emblem, any defining features, but it is beautifully made. You think back to the clothes that the Red Vors made, the clothes that you're wearing, that Eleanor's wearing. It is, you're not confident enough to say that the Red Vords made this cloak, but it is like it's not a peasant's cloak. It's
Yeah.
nice. And then yes, go ahead.
Can I get some stray paper and ink from the desk and copy down the runes that are different on a piece of paper?
Sure. Yeah, you can do that. For sure.
I'm gonna do that and then fold the paper up and tuck it in my breast.
Before she goes up to the desk, I want to try to, like, almost push the desk, because if there's someone behind there, I want to, like, see if I hit anything.
Gotcha. Sure. Yeah, give me a strength check for me.
To move a piece of furniture?
This is how much force you're moving it.
While you're pushing it, I'll just grab, like, a piece of paper that was probably, like, flown on the floor, just, like, whatever was closest to me. I won't go near the desk.
Deal. Eleanor, you also know that pushing this desk will make noise as you push it.
Like a lot of noise?
Not a ton of noise. You heard the desk move the first time in the hallway. So if there's anybody in the hallway behind you, they will hear it. But farther than that, no.
Yeah, I'll do it. I got a 15, though.
Cool. You move the desk. You move it far enough that you're confident there's nobody behind it, but it does, after like a foot or two, it hits the chair that's been knocked over.
Yeah.
But you're confident that you didn't bump anything fleshy.
I want to move and do the same to the couch.
Cool.
To, like, just move it a little bit, or, like, take a pillow and, like, chuck. Like, I'm trying to figure out if there's someone there without getting close.
Deal. Yep. You push that couch back, and it moves all the way to the back of the, all the way to the bookcase. There's nothing behind it.
Then I want to open the closet.
So you go up to the closet. You have the doors. You're gonna open the closet.
Yeah, but I want to have. Is there like a fireplace in the room?
Yeah, there's a fireplace.
I want to grab the poker.
Sure.
And shakily. I mean, I've practiced with the rapier before in school, but
yeah, you got the same thing.
I hold it out as I go.
Deal. You throw open the doors to the closet, and the coats shift and move in the wind, and it is empty. There's no one in the closet.
But I still feel eyes.
Give me another perception check.
Fuck. 9.
Okay. Because your passive perception's higher, I'm gonna go with your passive perception. You feel that tinge of still like something strange, but it's not as intense as when you walked in the room.
Guys, I don't know what this is. I don't know why someone is... how this happened, but I can still feel something. We cannot call the guards. Not yet. The party will end. We will wait for everyone to leave. At this point, I can tell the guards to strengthen their number to be on guard, but we already have full staff for the event. Whoever was here has likely escaped. And whatever is done is done.
I'm listening to Eleanor, but I'm still like fixated on this body, and I'm kind of like nodding my head and going like as I'm going through it, and I want to gently take that paper out of her hand.
Sure. Give me a dexterity check. And while you're doing that, Wrencher, is there anything you would like to do as these ladies are moving around the room?
I'm just trying to figure out why. Why here? Why now? My only thought is that there was some kind of import to this woman in relation to the meeting that happened between Arthas and Florian.
Sure.
The fact that the desk has been ransacked makes me believe they were looking for something.
Absolutely.
So I would like to investigate the desk.
Sure, you can absolutely investigate the desk. Before you do that, I'm going to go back only because you had asked the question specifically. You had asked, who is this woman? And you look down at her face, and it is it is scarred, the jaw is broken. But give me a gossip check.
That's a nat 1.
Cool. You have not seen this woman before.
Dang it.
Can I also look at the face?
Yeah, sure. You can.
Now that I've kind of pulled out
And you can give me
that I can't find my person.
Eleanor, you can give a gossip check with advantage. Carry
24.
You absolutely know this woman.
Yeah.
You know that this woman was an employee of the Ink and Quill, the printing guild. She previously worked at the Ink Tributary, the printing press run by the Quillans. With that gossip, you know that her name was Lucille Splotchins.
Lucille... What?
Splotchins. S-P-L-O-T-H... O-T-C-H-I-N-S. Splotchins. Lucille was recently, within the month, let go from the Ink and Quill for trying to publish an article not just criticizing, but with very uncouth language, criticizing how much the war expenses have fallen upon the common folk and how much the nobles of the city were profiting off the war. And you also notice Oriana. I forgot to give you this before, and I apologize. When you looked at the body, you notice that not only is her jaw broken, her tongue is gone as well.
Ooh. That's important.
Is it?
And then I rolled a 16 on my dex to pull that paper out of her hand.
Yes, you slip the paper successfully out of her hands. And it says the following, and I will be sure to send this to you after so you have it in writing.
Okay.
But in this paper, it says, once you have acquired the Carnus Grim, you are to leave immediately. It is essential if we are to bring about Cinderfall. We will gather again on the 1st of Asha, and Thalia will be born anew. And after, almost in like a place where a signature would be, it says Vestra Onus.
Can I try to put that paper back into her hand?
You can. Yeah, you can do that. Give me another dexterity check.
I have high dex. I can do it.
And
She's dead. She's not going to fight me for it.
that's fair.
15.
15. You are able to jam it back into her hand.
Cool.
Sorry. Renshaw, you were looking at the desk and I cut you off with
Yes.
the body. Give me an investigation check.
13.
15.
13.
13. Okay. You look at the desk. You see that the contents of the desk have been strewn about, but upon your inspection, you see that most things that you'd expect to be on the desk are accounted for. It doesn't really look like anything has been stolen, just moved. And
There's no secret drawers that have been opened and left opened.
No, you don't really see anything on there. In addition, nothing seems to be moved or taken from the drawers. You go, like, the drawers are all closed. They're hanging open a little bit because the desk was shoved twice, but nothing, again, secret in there. You do see, however, there are slight scrape marks on the ground where the desk has been pushed.
Can I investigate the floor where the desk was for a trapdoor?
Sure, absolutely. Give me another investigation check while I go to Eleanor.
I think... Is there a chance that I'd have, because it's my mom's study, like, some of my, like, sketching, drawing supplies in here?
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
probably just scattered about.
Sure.
I would like to kind of position myself and start sketching the entire crime scene.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because this is like Eleanor's main talent and skill, so I want to get it like as realistic as possible, paying attention to like the details on the banner and stuff like that. I know Oriana took a sketching of that specific thing,
the
but
runes.
I want the entire like room, even if it takes me a few minutes.
Absolutely. I'm going to say, based on Eleanor's incredible drawing skills and her actual character ability to be able to do this, as you draw this room, because you're looking at the whole room, and because it's a drawing, the DC will be higher, but at any point, as long as you have this drawing, you could investigate the room again.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, excellent. And you take a little bit of time as you're going through and you're drawing this out.
I think I'll just be like, I'm gonna draw it. I'm gonna get everything down to the exact detail. That way, even if anything gets messed up, the guards could still see this. They could still have this exact precision. Also, this could look really cool in my resume.
The
Sorry.
portfolio's gonna love this.
The portfolio just... I've been waiting to see one of the depraved, and this is obviously... I don't think this is the depraved, because this is... And I will share then the name. This is Lucella Splotchins. She used to work for us at the Tributary, and then was working with the Quill and Ink, and she got fired for trying to write this brave, it was a very interesting read, an article about how the war is impacting simply the expenses against the commoners instead of, and then us rich are profiting off of it, and like kind of try to give in those details.
So you think she was killed to be silenced and then made it look like it was the depraved?
But why? I mean, I guess that would answer why here. If whoever wants to do it is trying to pass it off as my mama, as the Quillen's upset former bosses, would be a good cover. I don't know why they'd include the Viscount yet.
We're missing something.
Renshaw.
Maybe it's the trapdoor under the desk. I rolled a 14 for investigation.
You do not see a trapdoor under the desk.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
The only thing you do notice is there are prints in the blood. The prints are seen for being in the blood, but they almost have like like a saliva or like a goo attached to them. There's something unnatural and sticky on these prints that go through. And you see there is one on the floor in front of the banner, one where the desk used to be, and one on the windowsill. And they are not the prints of boots, but closer to paw prints. And if you would like, you can give me a nature or a lore check looking at these.
Sure. I have no idea how I do with those. Nature? Not good. Lore? What's lore? Is that a thing?
What is the thing?
Legend?
Yes, give me legend. I must have picked that up.
3.
You do not know what this is. You've never seen prints like that before. And it might just be because you're a city guy.
I believe
City
our
girl.
most recent theory to be incorrect. It seems as though this was not a human. Perhaps
Sure.
someone let
Can
it
you
in?
check the painting? Do you see it has the hinges on it? Try to
Oh.
see if it opens. Look for a motive.
Oh, good eye. Can I look at that?
Yeah?
Oriana, is your investigation as poor as mine?
My investigation is not that bad. I think I'm just more occupied with the body, and I see Renshaw's near the desk. So I'm like, just crack that open while you're over there.
Investigation. That's a 10.
You go to the painting and you see it again. It is clearly hinged on one side, and the painting has been shifted, revealing that it pulls away from the wall. As you pull it back, inlaid in the wall is a 2x2 vault door that also hangs ajar.
Oh,
Did I know about this?
You have never seen this. You've never even heard your mom talk about this. Either she was keeping it a secret from you, or she doesn't know as well. But she has never mentioned it to you.
Well, here's what we were missing.
As you pull
And
back
it's
the
still
vault
missing.
door, sorry. As you pull back the vault door, there is looking inside the vault, there is a large rectangular imprint devoid of dust. It is making it look like there was only one occupant of this safe, and it was this large rectangle, about a foot by, a little over a foot by a little like 8 inches, probably about, say, 16 by 8, give or take.
Can I grab a quick sketch of that as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you just
Just
sketch
kind
a
of-
rectangle?
You know, I draw perfectly accurately to size. So,
She has Renshaw in frame. That way, she as a reference to sketch. I know how big your head is, so I know how big that
listen,
rectangle
Mentor,
is.
I'm not good with words and writing notes. These are my notes.
It's a rectangle.
We can...
I could have drawn this.
So something
see.
was stolen or taken from this scene. I was beginning to worry nothing was taken. The trophy shelf, the display case, has everything in it. Nothing was stolen, but this was taken.
So
Did you share the note that you got from her hands?
Yeah, I probably, I don't know if you were listening, but I would have read it out loud and then stuck it back in her hand.
Right.
Because I'm not taking that evidence. But,
So
yeah, we can read it out loud.
If you need me to read it again, I can.
I have a shorthand of it. What is this Carnus Grim? And how did they know about a vault? I have no knowledge of this. I can't imagine that my mother would keep anything about the house, the keep, from me.
They probably didn't know about the vault specifically. They probably just knew there was an item hidden, which is why they moved the desk, they ransacked the desk they were looking for. They didn't know exactly where it was. Big old painting. I mean, hinges. That's fun.
And the painting, it's of the tributary, correct?
Give me a perception or investigation check.
Jesus Christ. I got these special, beautiful dice that are Eleanor inspired, and I can't fucking roll above a 10.
These beautifully cursed dice.
These beautifully cursed dice, even in the pre-sessions. That's a 16, though,
16?
because
Oh, that's not
That's
bad.
not bad. That's not bad.
No.
my perception is +7. It should be better.
You see that it is a painting of the Ink tributary, but it
Okay.
looks slightly different from the one in the city. And you've seen this painting plenty of times, but now that you're like really focusing on it, you see like slight differences. You realize upon inspection of the painting, it is a older version of the building before it was renovated in 1623. And not only that, but there is a signature in the corner that you have never noticed. The artist of the painting is none other than
Lucille
Alan.
Splotchkins.
No. Lucille Splotchkins, I got it. Is Alanth Tierwald, who is the grandsire to the Tierwald in the room with you.
Renshaw,
Well, your
did you
family
know
have been
that your
friends for
grandsire
generations.
painted?
What?
Your grandsire, he painted this.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know he could paint. Also,
I thought he died
I mean,
at the
yeah,
Grove.
he did.
Yeah, but haven't your families been friends for generations?
Yes, I mean, before everyone lived in Thalia, I had my family, I mean, I never went, of course, but we had a beautiful summer house out at the Grove where the Tyrvalls are from. But that was, I mean, before the Depraved, at least in their last attack.
Huh. I didn't know he could paint. It's pretty good. He did a pretty good job on that.
You never met him, right?
No, but like, we don't have his paintings hanging at our house. They're hanging at your house, apparently.
Apparently.
Yeah, Renshaw, you would know the only thing that you would have from your grandsire, or even from the town that your family used to own, the only thing is they returned one chest from Ethra's Grove. Aside from the stuff that your father took when he moved into the city, there was only one chest recovered from your ancestral manor before it was claimed by the forest. And it sits in your attic.
Perhaps you'll find more of his paintings there. I never bothered to check the chest that returned.
Do I still feel ice? Can I see if it's faded completely?
Yeah, give me another perception check.
Nat 20, baby.
Wow.
Nice.
20.
They heard me talking trash.
You notice just on the corner of your eye, you catch it just as it goes, a rat leaps from the desk to the windowsill and then goes out the window. But you know when you see it, when you see the rat leap,
Yeah.
you know that rat wasn't like poking around a minute ago. You also know that that feeling you got when the hair stands up on the back of your head is not when on a nat 20, you know that's not the feeling you get when you're around your cat or you're around like another animal.
Right.
But you do know that the way that rat, that beady little eye, looked at you as it leapt from the desk out, that rat was looking at you.
Can I make some type of like, I mean, magic has been banned my entire life, but like legend roll? Because I don't think like Eleanor knows what like a druid or something like
Sure.
a familiar or anything like
Yeah,
that would be.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So like why, like she believes that this rat was watching her and that meant something more than a normal thing,
Yeah.
but I don't, what she could understand from
You
that.
do legend with, because you rolled a nat 20, you can do it with advantage.
Okay. That's an 18.
18. You would have heard stories of the people of the woods. The witches are like the governing body of the people who live there, and now the horrors that come from the trees. But the overall designation for people that were from the woods and not from Calador are the Moorish people, and they are the people. They are ancestrally from the woods and have a variety of magic associated with them. And you do know, you've heard stories of archaic magic being giving these Moors the ability to transform under the moonlight,
Okay.
and whether it's for whatever reason that they do, you have heard stories of that.
All I want to do is go set my cat loose in the ground.
Go.
And that is not the current answer. But something in my head was like, what if we just like send the cat out?
What if we-
Like I can't tell all the guards, hey, kill all rats on sight.
What if we fight fire with fire? Like, yeah.
You want to come out as a rat? I want to send my fucking cat on you.
As you see this as you see the rat go out the window, you hear the dinner bell chime as dinner is being served. In the next like 10-15 minutes, everyone's going to be expected in the Grand Hall.
Okay. Oriana, did you find anything odd about Lucille here?
I mean,
Beyond-
everything's odd about Lucille here.
Beyond the obvious.
But I will share everything that has been found. Mostly that the ash is definitely of the magical type. You already know who she is from Eleanor. I read the paper out loud. Yeah, everything that was said, I'll repeat that I could.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna keep that. I think that the rat was the person watching us to myself at the moment. It just feels a little.
That's a little crazy for this crazy moment. Yeah.
It's so we know that they took something out of the vault. Was their intention to keep it for themselves or to destroy it? Like, there's a pile of ash. There's two things missing from this room. The object from the vault and Lucille's tongue. They probably kept one of them. and burn the other.
I think a lot of Lucille is like she's like properly fucked, right?
If you want
Like
to,
she could have been.
Her jaw has been ripped off and her tongue
Yeah.
pulled out, but nothing else about her is damaged. She's still pretty much intact. The blood on her, I don't think is hers.
can you give me, especially Oriana, because you're looking at it, a medicine check?
Medicine. 19.
Wow.
Yikes.
Is that 19 on the dice?
18 on the dice, and I get
Okay.
+1.
So you, looking at it, you see that the blood on her and is mixed with like stomach acid and bile and internal viscera and a little bit of that like slimy saliva sticky guck that is on the footprints as well. You also see that like on a 19 medicine check, what is left of her tongue is like shredded, the farthest back part of her tongue, and the inside of her mouth is like has been torn to bits.
It wasn't cleanly cut with a knife.
Absolutely not. With looking at where she is right now, the way she's positioned on the floor, it looks like she threw up everything, including organs and important things that has come up on her stomach as her jaw is ripped from her.
You're gonna make me write that down. Threw up organs on the note sheet.
Threw up organs.
Yeah.
I mean,
So there are a lot of things about this that are very animalistic, like torn out, ripped jaw, but also things that are very precise, like the perfectly circle of bones around her.
also, while ripping the tongue out is animalistic, she was fired and scandaled for the words that she was trying to perpetrate. Is that not, like...
Symbolism! Oh, that's beautiful.
Could this be a...
We're back to the inside job! Okay. Got
I
nowhere.
do not think that it was my mama. I promise you that is not who we are. It was not.
There's
No, but
other
more
rich
signs of
people
this
she's
are
probably
leading
scandaled.
towards your family more so than Renshore's family now. Like, the crest isn't even right. There are more signs tying this to your family now, Eleanor. Especially that it was one of your own employees that were fired.
So, technically, for clarification,
Yeah.
Lucille worked for the Printing Guild, which
Yeah.
is technically a separate entity.
Okay.
But she was the printing. They tried to print, or how do I say it? Let me get this right for you.
I thought you said that she did also used to work
Yes,
for the tributary.
that is correct.
But what she got fired from was the guild for trying to print about the war.
Yes, that is correct. So
Okay.
she. Yeah, no, I take it back. She is not a direct employee of the Quillins,
Mhm.
but the Quillin establishment fired her. If that makes sense.
And now someone else has silenced her.
I would like to say that this is a scene, a frame of someone upset and trying to give her consequence, but why would you put the body in a locked study? Why do the ritual here? It's the night of the Fall Equinox, but if you were to make a show of it, put it somewhere someone could find. Put it on the first floor.
I mean, we did find it. It was found in a
Because
very
I had a
important room.
key.
Also, speaking of keys, was the vault locked? Or was it merely just hidden?
The vault looks like it could have been locked. When you found it, it was not.
Was it like a key lock, padlock?
It was a combination.
Combination.
And I
It's
will
hard to
say,
open.
because you've asked about it, you do not see any signs of forced entry on the lock or the painting, making it seem like whoever came in knew the painting was there and knew the combination.
Yet they still ransacked the desk.
Do I see the letter that I was supposed to get from my papal for Stoneworth?
Yeah, it's still on the desk.
Okay, I'm gonna grab that.
Yeah. Well,
Sorry, I
mean,
still have business to attend to.
gotta keep this whole show rolling.
Okay, I think we lock the windows.
Maybe we should lock all the windows. Whole house.
It's my guards that will send to find this after the event. But perhaps we should... I do not think that I do not think that it reflects well upon the House Quillen for this to come out, for anyone to know of this.
It's a dead body. What are you gonna do?
Eleanor is absolutely right. If people find out that a murder, especially of a ritual with the city's tragic history with cultists in the last 50 years, the ball may never be hosted at the Quillen Manor again if they find out that a cult broke in on the night of the ball. It may be. There's enough damage control. The Quillens are a very influential house, but like some people are. I mean, the Warwicks did not come out to the ball for fear of cultists. Granted, they don't go out to anything for fear of cultists.
Yeah, these people are losers.
And Renshaw, you would also know that if word got out that there was a connection between the Tyrvalds and the cult, especially without you guys being viscounts, and viscounts from the woods at that, a scandal would severely tarnish your reputation if damage control wasn't done correctly. Fortunately, you do have somebody on the inside of the Ashen Order who might be able to help keep things quiet, but without proper worst case scenario, if this went public right now, the worst thing that could happen is the Quillens never host the Fall Equinox Ball again, and the Tyrvalds are so disparaged that their titles are stripped away.
Oh, at least none of us are getting burned.
Well, dinner is being set, and you two certainly cannot miss out on that. Your presence is definitely requested. Why don't, when you two go down for dinner, I'll stand up here by the door and I'll make sure that nobody enters the second floor. At least until the party is over and we decide which guards we want to send in.
Would I know if anyone else has a key if there's additional keys to the study?
You would know that maybe some people on the your security would have a key for emergencies and as like a spare, but for the most part they don't want just keys of your mother's personal business roaming around the hall.
How long does it take bone to burn?
Magically, you could do it pretty quick.
I have no magic. I have a fireplace.
What are you trying to do?
No one can find this. I will not send for guards. Not now, not later. I know much of gossip, of rumor. This could be ruin. This could be ruin for us all.
Hiding a body is far worse ruin than one being found in your study.
Not if it's not found.
Yeah.
No one would dare come into the Count's study.
Eleanor, I'm willing to do a lot for you here and make sure that your family name isn't tarnished and do what we can to protect that, but I don't think we can disturb the crime scene. It's still a crime scene. It still needs to be taken care of by professionals.
Eleanor, you would know that if you could remove the implications that it was connected to a cult, that it would be much easier for the Coolin family to do an investigation on the body, avoid suspicion that it happened on the night of the ball, to avoid any implication of the Tiervalds. The damage control gets significantly easier if you can just remove any connections to the occult. Now, it gets a lot better if you
tongue
can
back in her face.
True.
I think for now, we lock the windows and we all return to the dinner. Oriana, you were spotted. You need to make presence again. We are guilt-free now. But no matter what gets decided, no matter how we go about this,
I don't know. Are you sure me coming down to dinner is the right move? Because I was seen, I think I should stay.
how would that help?
I'm gonna guard the room. I have reason to be here. I'm protecting the crime scene to make sure nobody else disrupts it. Especially if we're gonna make the decision to wait until the guests have leave before calling in more Ashen Order.
If I lock the door, no one can enter.
Clearly
But
someone
if
did
you
before.
stay here, that gives you enough. We haven't been gone from the party. How long has it been?
It's probably been 15 minutes. Tops.
They saw us all leave. We need to all return. If not, that gives you enough time in the eyes of everyone else to have committed this crime.
Yeah, we should have just immediately told someone else.
Renshaw! You guys know we are a part of high society. Look at what scandal can do. Look at the Millards. Think of how people talk. We need to return and act as if nothing has happened. The ball will be done later this evening, and then any action can be taken in private and with less eyes. Half of the ton is here tonight.
I don't like it. Don't like it one bit.
I don't like any of this.
I like this. I like that people don't like what happened. That makes me happy. Excellent.
Renshaw, do you think I should go down? I don't feel comfortable. But if you both think that I should go down with you.
Why'd you put me on that spot? How many people have keys to the door?
Just spare key with the guards.
I Yeah, the head of the guard will have a spare key, and Eleanor holds the second.
I think I should stand outside the door and guard, but if you think I should join you for dinner.
I think that draws attention.
Does draw attention.
We need to act as if there's nothing to guard, as if nothing occurred.
Wish we could act like we didn't just see a dead body.
And if whoever did this comes back, you would be in perilous danger
Oh, that's
to
a good
be
point.
at the scene.
Yeah, if they come back, that's especially why I should be here.
What are you gonna do?
I'll chase them down. I'll see who it was.
Oriana, you have only worked with the guard for 10 weeks.
It's still my job. I still can't abandon it.
These things have destroyed our country. At least our part of
And
it.
someone needs to stand up to them. I'm not afraid to stand up to them.
You will die.
Then so be it.
This
Someone
is not
needs
the
to try.
time for heroics. What will you prove? There is no one here to be hurt. There is no one here to protect if you will simply leave.
There's a whole ball of people downstairs that need
So
protecting.
go down and be with them. Protect them.
It's your name on the line. Other people have the key. People have been in this room before. If you don't want trusted eyes on the room, then I will join you.
Let's go to dinner.
Before you leave, is there anything that you would like to remove from the room, or leave in the room, or investigate? If you want to investigate, I'll give you everyone one last thing to peek at before you go.
I'm gonna investigate the entire room.
Deal. Yeah, go for it. Give me an
I'm
investigation.
not gonna get anything with an 11.
No, there's nothing new that you haven't seen already.
I would like to take as many of the cultist items, anything that feels more like, and I mean, the bones won't burn in time.
As soon as you go to pick something up, I'm going to stop you.
I might also try to
I have
stop you
sketches.
Yeah, you have your
I have
sketches.
sketches of this entire crime scene.
And all three of us are implemented in the murder itself. We spent 20 minutes here. You can sketch whatever you want. You can sketch a clean room.
If I simply wanted a clean room, then I would hide everything. But I must do what I can to protect my family. I do not wish to upset you two.
Whatever.
But
Do it.
private guards can be informed of the whole situations, ones that I know will hold to secrecy.
And if we're gonna have private guards look at this later, then let them deal with touching the evidence. You don't need your hands on that, Eleanor. You don't need to incriminate yourself anymore. Especially if we're not giving this to the public.
I'm gonna grab the Tiraval banner and toss it in the fire.
That is Eleanor. That is Renshaw. Oriana, would you like anything before leaving?
No.
Okay. The three of you go downstairs. The dinner commences. Dinner is served. And we are going to take a quick break. We'll be back very soon.
Oh my goodness.
Back half of episode 2 of City of Shadows.
Oh, I need this break.
Welcome to the world of Ethereum.
A world that was built around a cataclysmic event known as the Convergence, when the realms began to converge with one another and destroy the mortal realm. A group of 9 heroes known as the Novems stopped the force and ascended into godhood. As society rebuilt, the year was reset to 0 and a universal calendar was formed around the destruction of the old world.
New gods, known as the Ascended, walked among the mortals of the realm, interacting with them and shaping the birth of a new society, starting with the ancient cities that survived, as well as assisting in the construction of new cities. Their involvement left behind evidence of their greatness and power. These cities are now considered touched cities and are epicenters for religion. Yet the new gods' might and aura was too great for this realm. The gods withdrew, allowing mortals to govern their own destinies and reach ascension as well. However, they still watch over and protect from the ascent.
The Ascended brought new magic to the world, ascension magic, that was formed from the Convergence. This is the well of magic that fuels the gods and then can be gifted or cursed to other mortals. However, the world of Ethereum was already familiar with magic, as some are born with archaic magic, originating from the natural chaos within the realms and embedded within the ley lines. Over time, Ethereans honed a third magic through the manipulation of runes onto the natural resource of siphons found deep within Ethereum. This runic magic is wielded and imbued into artifacts by anyone who is armed with a spheric focus and willing to learn its language.
Ethereum's people feature all manner of races and culture, intertwined with each other across the land. People were forced to come together after the destruction of their homes to rebuild anew. Our world is full of stories and adventure, of comedy and of tragedy. So, please join us at the inn for a tale or two, and welcome to Ethereum. The year is 1658, and a small kingdom rests in the valley between the Dromo Sea and the Gallatin Mountains, the nation of Calidor. Ruled by 5 high houses and their sovereign, we place our attention on House Blacksbane and the horrors that await it.
Once, the Verramore Woods was home to an ancient race of witches, but 200 years ago, dark creatures began emerging from its shadowy branches, the depraved. With the arrival of these horrors, High Lord Caspian Blacksbane sent his sister, the Duke, into the woods to negotiate for aid, but she never returned. Rather, the people of the woods released the depraved against Calidor and its people. This launched a war between House Blacksbane and the Moors that still lasts today, as shortly after the High Lord was hexed by one of their most powerful witches, binding him to their wicked ritual and transforming him into a shriveled, undead state. The High Priest declared all forms of their ancient magic banned within the lands of Blacksbane, and for the exile of all people who possess its power. And so, for the next 70 years, a newly formed religious century worked tirelessly to eradicate the Moors.
We move forward to the winter of 1613, when the people of Blacksbane once more become prey to the terrors of the depraved. For years, the attacks were ceaseless, and the woods the Calorians lived in for centuries had become unsafe. All along the path were forced to relocate behind the walls of the city of Thalia, but there was hope against these dark creatures. The high priest of this age determined that the increase of a second type of magic, runic, had lured the depraved out of the depths of Verramore, and so a second ban was placed, leaving only those with the holy power from the Ascended allowed to practice magic. And there was once more peace within House Blacksbane.
3 years ago, a civil war broke out across Calidor over the rightful successor to the throne, and House Blacksbane sent their forces to fight for Queen Davina Rember. But their duties of protection against the Verramore Woods could not be abandoned, and so the Pristine Council decreed a new force shall be made, one that had already worked for centuries past with the Valiant, to stop these horrific creatures. And so came the rise of the religious guard, the Ashen Order. Led by the Flame of Blacksbane, High Priest Ilian Malak marks the path for justice and protection within the city of Thalia, enforcing the ban across archaic and runic magic, but even their holy might cannot stop what lurks in the woods.
The depraved are coming, and no one is safe.
Thalia stands alone, but there will come a day when their High Lord will be made whole again and the depraved defeated. Until then, the pyres are being lit, and within the City of Shadows, the witches will burn. We return to the Grand Hall of Quillen Keep as dinner is served on beautiful silverware, silver plates. The meals are a wide variety and a bounty of foods that are typically not in season, but the Quillens are able to bring it in as one last reminder of the summer and what the fun we had and the anticipation of winter to come. As people come and sit down, Eleanor, do you give your father the letter back?
Yes.
Excellent. He is incredibly thankful. Oh, thank you so much. I cannot believe I forgot this. I will get this to Stoneworth right away. And he gives you a kiss on the forehead and stops and goes, "Everything okay?"
Yes, of course.
Oh, deal. He goes, again, the party is beautiful and everything has come out wonderful.
Isn't it so splendid? I think that the drapes just look amazing.
I told your mother, don't you think a blue for the coming winter would look so good?
I think perhaps they would look amazing in winter.
Maybe I should throw the winter equinox ball then.
It's a solstice.
Of course, solstice, equinox, it's all the same. And he walks over to Stoneworth with his letter. Excellent. Everyone sits down. Dinner is served. As dinner comes around, the children of House Fairchild are seated next to you, Eleanor, and you see Bray Fairchild is sitting next to you. As she's eating her food, she turns to you and says, "My father has told us that you'll be joining us for the ceremony of the bells."
Yes, I am quite excited.
Excellent.
I heard that you guys have an excellent balcony seat.
Yes, it is a wonderful spot to be. I heard that they are whenever they retire a bell from the city, one of the major bells around the city, they have a ceremony for it. And I have not seen a retirement before, or a ceremony of the bells. This will be my first one. So I'm excited. I heard that with the absence of Scion Lunaris, that High Priest Ilion is going to preside over the ceremony himself.
Oh, well, that will be a unique sight for us indeed, will it not?
Yes.
For our first time.
Yes. Oh, it's very fun. If I must say, he is quite an attractive tiefling of the tiefling. I know that he is spoken for, but his...
Well, my mama always said that it's okay to look.
Oh, I certainly will in a couple days. I know I goofed up last session, so to set the record straight, the current day is the 21st of the month of Maiar, which is on the day of Omera, which is the third day of the week. The ceremony of the bells is taking place on the 23rd, which is on Samara, which is the 5th day of the week. So in 2 days is the ceremony of the bells. And it is a ceremony where there are many bells throughout Thalia, But there are major bells that have been used from the earliest founding of the city for religious purposes, for telling time, for warning of encroaching danger from the forest. These bells are called the Bells of Abundance, and they've been around since the city's start. And when they are retired, because they are such old antiques, they have a ceremony to retire these bells. And so that is what is occurring on Samara. And yeah, the brave Fairchild is going to be excellent to get out. I know I have to take as many opportunities to be outside as we can before winter comes, but
Of course. We have to show off our nicest dresses.
yes,
Especially if the high priest will be in
yes, on
attendance.
the balcony, I'm thrilled. Yeah, we shift from Eleanor to Renshore. Renshore, how you doing, buddy?
Not good. Which is fine. Who's sitting next to me?
On one side is your father,
Mm-hmm.
and on the other side, will be the actually it is Viscount Landon Kimbridge is next to you.
That makes sense. So I am incredibly nervous, which is not unlike the rest of today's event. And they've probably noticed that, and no one's an idiot. And so I'm just sitting there as a nervous wreck.
Okay. Yeah. You see, as he's eating, your father turns to you and says, I hear you invited the Kimbridges to ride back to their estate with us?
Yes, they needed a ride.
Well, it is always in House Tyrvald's advantage to provide for those who, when other Viscounts need some assistance. I'm sure, and he looks over to Landon, I'm sure the Kimbridges will remember my son's kindness as he becomes the heir of the family.
Yes, that was my same thoughts. I mean, we'll do them a favor and then they'll owe us.
How is Oriana?
Oh, well, I didn't,
And then goes back to eating his food.
Have you ever painted?
Can I?
I can't say I have.
I thought I might try it.
I feel like your time for hobbies has passed you, Renshore. Maybe at Scrollspire you had the faculties for less useful skills, but now you'll have to be more efficient with your time, don't you think?
Right, of course. What was I thinking?
And by efficient with your time, I mean looking for a new suitor, correct?
Well, I don't. A new one? I feel like we had an arrangement that was quite beneficial to all.
We did have an arrangement with a heir to the Scion ship, but we'll have to discuss this over the winter, and not amongst present company.
Right, of course. You brought it up.
Your father does not say another word for the rest of the meal. Excellent. And then, Oriana, you have a little bit of a pick of where to sit. Is there anyone in particular that you cozy up next to?
I probably sit as close as I can, or like across from Eleanor.
You.
Yeah.
I would have sat next to her if the seat wasn't already taken, but I will go to sitting across from her. And I guess whoever sits beside me there is.
Yes.
I don't really care who sits beside me. I'm here for Eleanor.
You sit close to Eleanor, and you end up being seated next to Heir Henner Atwood of the Count Heir Henner Atwood. You see they are eating their food, and I just closed the document I needed, which is awesome.
I don't really make much conversation with them. I think I try to join in conversation with Eleanor and the Quillins when I can, but most of the time I'm pretty quiet and I'm just kind of picking at my plate, eating sparingly, probably not even eating that much, considering how she's feeling now.
If she's there, I'll also try to like involve her in the conversation about the high priest and be like, Oriana, you must know well how handsome in person and up close the high priest is.
Yes, I mean, not really for my eyes, but I can certainly see how he is very handsome. He does have a very clean-kept face.
Did you hear that, Bree?
I did. Have you ever had an audience with him in person?
Yes. Actually, several times. I mean, with my father has meetings with him quite frequently.
Is he as charming as they say he is? I know he is so well spoken in public, but I've also heard he's quite charming in person.
He is extremely charismatic.
Oh my goodness.
Very. It's probably why he got the seat himself for a high priest. He's all the right words.
Can you imagine, Bree, that voice?
Oh my! At this table,
One-on-one.
I cannot think of it at this table.
Of course. Only what is proper.
Only what is proper. She has
Oriana is just a little uncomfortable, just not like with the like she's trying to make conversation and her mind is still replaying everything that they've just seen, everything that they've done, like kind of re-going through all the evidence, re-going through, okay, what did this mean? What is that connection? Are we okay? Who are we telling after? Like, I'm just going through all the steps and then like speaking up like about the high priest and then just kind of going back to like my plate and being like, all right, what do we have to do? And just her heart's not in the conversation.
I think I'm gonna turn and like my voice low, seeing that Renshaw and Oriana perhaps aren't as high in charisma and faking it as Eleanor is, and whisper to her and be like, obviously Oriana's attentions might still be lingering on a young Tirval. Did you know this is the first time they've seen each other in 10 weeks since the broken
Eleanor, are you
engagement?
gossiping about me in front of me?
I'm
No,
whispering.
we would never. We would never.
Of course not. You just look distracted.
Oh, of course. Bree turns to you and very quietly go, did you say he wrote her letters?
I briefly hear that a little bit, and I look up and just again make eye contact with Renshaw down the table.
It actually just happens to line up exactly when my dad and I stopped talking about her.
Yep.
Yeah.
At this point, Henner Atwood is going to turn to you, Oriana, and go, he is a blonde elf. He has gray and blue garments that are lined with precious gemstones. And he is over 100 years old, but he looks as if he's in his early 20s. and he turns to you and says, "Oh, Miss Lunaris, may I broach a sensitive subject with you briefly?"
Quite possibly, sure.
Well, I have been told that you have taken up a position amongst the Ashen Order in the recent months, which I must say is incredibly honorable of you to do so. It is a position much needed in our city right now. I have a very good friend from formal school. You may know her. She is a priest of Amira in the... her name is Karina Chastings. Do you know of her? Have you interacted with her before?
I can't say that I have. Is there a problem?
No. Precisely the opposite, in fact. She is an excellent priest of Amira, and she excels in her work. And I can personally vouch for her character. If possible, I know that with the change in position, your father may be looking to take on an apprentice for the scionship. If you, I believe she would make an excellent scion. But I would particularly like to have your endorsement, of course, to go behind your back, anyone to go behind your back to look for the scionship from your father. It would be incredibly distasteful. And so I would like to broach it with you first. And I also believe that if she could have your endorsement, that would look excellent. If you have the availability, I know your duties to the Ashen Order are incredibly important.
Yes, I am quite busy, but if I have the spare time,
yes,
I will make effort to meet her myself, vet her myself, and if I deem her worthy, then I will surely pass her name along.
I would ask nothing less. If she does not impress you, then she does not deserve the title. But I assure you, she does nothing but impress.
I will take a look. Thank you.
Of course.
For the lead.
If we are able to get your support, we would certainly be in your debt. And to have the debt of a count, let alone one of the big three, the original counts that hold not just an unimaginable amount of wealth and power in the city. Their families are so old and ingrained in Dahlia's history that the gates of the city are named after them. Mm-hmm. And he says it will be in your debt to have your endorsement for scionship.
I will take it into great consideration, as it's an extremely important job.
Excellent.
And I will look into it. Thank you.
Of course, thank you.
I have a question for you, John.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Is Henner Atwood ugly, or is the Kimbridge girl very pretty?
The Kimbridge girl is very pretty. Her parents, the Kimbridges, 4 elves are far more unattractive than most elves are, but their daughter is gorgeous.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course. You all hear as dinner goes on, the conversation eventually turns, as in the recent months it always has, to the rebellion in the south, as people begin to talk about how House Moss has rebelled against the Queen of Calador, and how House Blacksbane has come to the capital's aid, despite being effectively cut off by the 2 rebel houses from the rest of Calador. And there's talks amongst the room about, some say, oh, I hear that the our troops on the southern border are close to victory. I hear that the river need only to be crossed, and Drayden's Academy only to be captured, and the war is won. And based on the most recent reports, we may see an end to this war before Winterfall. And others, being far more skeptical, say, no, if our knights become rash and they try to take the Mages Academy too soon, then they will fail at the cost of many lives. And if they wait too long, then winter will come and we'll be at war at least until spring. And eventually the conversation moves to the Enlightened and how they have replaced most of the city guard has gone to fight, and the Enlightened has so graciously stepped in to serve as protectors of the city with the establishment of the Ashen Order. And you hear there's murmurs of some people being very pleased by the Ashen Order's work and how many witches they have caught in the past month and cleansed in the Caspian's Beacon and Maeve's Beacon, as well as some saying that they are excited for things to go back to normal when the guard returns. Is there anything our storytellers would like to gossip about or talk to at dinner?
I think I am just trying to appear as normal as possible, and perhaps, continuing those little trails of like Oriana and Renshaw are simply nervous because they're seen with one another once more. We're probably all seated close-ish to one another, just to kind of keep our cover under maintenance. I also want to be keeping an eye just to see if I don't know, from like the dining room, about people like going towards the grand stairs and going to the second floor.
Gotcha. Unfortunately, from this hall, there's no way to see where that is. But being as observant as you are, you're able to see at the table all the guests are present. The only people around are the servants and the guard. Mm-hmm. Okay. So nobody slipped away from dinner. With that, I'm going to have all three of you give me deception checks. I'm going to say, Eleanor, because of your particular work, you can do yours with advantage, and it will be a group deception.
Oh, I'm very deceptive.
What'd you get, Renshaw?
18.
I got an IKEA 20. It's the kind you have to build yourself.
IKEA 20. I've never heard that before. I like that.
It's from a TikTok.
Oh, yes, I stole it from someone else. It's not original. I can't remember who did it, but I did steal
funny.
it.
An IKEA 20. I love that. What did you say, Oriana?
18.
18. And Eleanor?
23.
Woo! 23. Cool. You guys successfully keep your cover. Nobody is the wiser.
We are not detectives. However, we are liars.
But we are liars. We aren't great at that. Yeah, and you guys successfully pass the rest of the evening without detecting any suspicion. The ball goes off without a hitch. The final dance goes between your mother and Florian and Kier are the final dance of the evening. The ball is beautiful, flawless. The fine wine never runs out, and people are certainly pleased. There's plenty to gossip about the evening, and none of it is the poor work of the Quillins. The counts leave first, followed by the viscounts and the scions. Renshaw, you and your father ride back with the Kimbridges. They do not live far from you, but it's an extra couple streets that you must travel down, and some extra silence staring at your father on the way home. But the Kimbridges are incredibly thankful for your discreetness and your assistance, and they say they owe you a favor.
Indeed they do.
Excellent. As everyone returns home, is there anything regarding the investigation of the murder or the events of the night that people like to clean up now that you're in your house alone? I'll start with Eleanor, because you're...
Yeah. I think I would like to see if Oriana will like hang around until everyone leaves.
Mm-hmm.
And I just be like, I'm gonna have us actually go back to the study if we can.
Sure.
But I don't want anyone seeing us go this time. So kind of like, since I would know the servant shifts,
Yeah,
to try to do it, slip in at a time with
for
the
sure.
key.
I'm going to say no roll required, because you're not on a time crunch. You certainly can simply, if somebody's watching, you simply chat with Oriana until they leave. Like you have time to play
Perfect.
with. And you both make it back to the study.
Has anything changed?
When you arrive, both of you give me perception or investigation checks.
16.
Nat fucking one.
Oh. I will say, despite your nat 1, you have the painting, your pictures drawn that you can compare to. Everything looks identical.
What do you want to do about your mother? I'm sure Florian's going to want to come into her own study.
I don't know if we should involve the Ashen Order or too many guards about this. I don't want word leaking. But is it enough that you know? I mean, you are of the Ashen Order. If other cases like this come about...
I mean, of course I'm going to do my best to try and figure out who did this. It's just a matter of the cleanup now. And properly disposing this to not incriminate your family anymore. I don't think I can clean this up alone. I might have to get somebody else. At least for a clean record for your family. But I promise I can get someone with the utmost discretion, and we won't make this public news.
Oriana, you, actually, both of you would know that Oriana is a new member of the Ashen Order. You do not hold much rank in the Ashen Order, but your last name holds tremendous weight amongst the Enlightened. At your request, you think that if you pulled some strings, you could make it so that if you pulled strings and rolled well, you can make it so you are the sole investigator on this issue. You would have to tell somebody that you're investigating this issue, and so like paperwork wise your boss would know, but you could make it so that you're the only detective in this case, like on the case. Realistically, you could pull strings and have you and like one other seasoned Ashen Order, or another seasoned cloak on this case.
That's what I was thinking. At least getting one other person who would have more rank than I to be able to
and you
have more.
And so you know that you could get it. You could keep this quiet amongst the Ashen Order.
I know I can keep this quiet.
Because of your last name.
I don't really want it to be a case, though.
But
I don't want it to be a
I
thing
know you
that
don't
anyone
want it
knows
to be a
of.
case, Eleanor, but a person was murdered. We at least owe them due respect to figure out who murdered them and to even keep the public safe. I will do everything in my power to protect your name and protect your family. Of course I want to protect you. But someone has died here today, Eleanor.
Eleanor, you think that with the proper pressure in certain locations, you could, as a count, you could make this case, when it becomes public, state that Lucille Splotchins was found dead, not in your manor, and like you own the printing press, right? Like the story that gets printed goes through you, and on top of that, you have connections in the courts, and you have connections in the Ashen Order, and if you want to let Oriana investigate without this being like a case, you think you could do it. You would probably have to involve your mother, but you think you could keep it quiet. Morally, you probably could. There's probably some things that you're doing that are lying. It's a lot of lying, but as far as keeping your family's reputation, you think there's absolutely a way to do it. You also, I mean, the alternative is to look for people, is to hire some, either your guards or some shady people to remove the body. And then pay off people that way.
I trust you, Oriana. And I trust that you can keep this quiet. I need all evidence of the cultist, of the ritual of this. I agree. Lucille.
Yep.
Lucille deserves proper respects, and a murderer should be caught. But if you are on the case, then you could know all the facts. But I don't want others to know it all. Not yet.
Here's what, Eleanor. I'm gonna go home tonight. I'm gonna get the most discreet and trusted comrade I have, and we will come back to this crime scene tomorrow with fresh eyes, and whatever happens in the meantime is up to your discretion.
Okay.
Perfect.
I'm expecting this crime scene to look just as it does now, tomorrow morning. But I have no evidence on my person of what the crime scene currently looks like, nor will I take any.
Perfect. Final questions for you ladies. Eleanor, without doing a full scene on it, do you tell your mother about what's in her study?
I think I'm gonna try to keep it from her for now.
Okay.
What's
All
in
night?
her study?
And all
A
morning?
Dead body.
I mean, she's going to bed tonight.
Ritual.
She's done for the night. It will be the next morning. So I guess is your plan to?
Yeah.
You could probably try to sneak these Ashen Order guys in, or do it behind her back, especially if she has things out of the house tomorrow.
Hold on.
I think Eleanor's plan is going to be to find... Do Bag of Holdings, is that some type of, like, artifact within the world?
Yes, that would...
Is that for a count, a common enough item that I'd have?
I would say that most Bag of Holdings are runic, which that type of magic is banned in Thalia. However, if it's vetted by the Enlightened, most likely procured by our Count Curtis Stoneworth, a count in Thalia would 100% have access to a Bag of Holding. For sure.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to take some type of Bag of Holding that I have after Oriana has left, and, like, put all of the cultist things in it, the note that was in the body. I want it to look simply like a gruesome murder occurred and not like a ritual.
Gotcha.
I'm going to push some of the furniture back, clean up.
Okay.
No, I'm not. I'll leave the paw prints. I don't care about that. But, like, that kind of thing to, like, try to shift the narrative of it.
Deal.
And then leave the study unlocked.
Okay.
So that way, in the morning, when I
Find it.
enter the study and find this body, it is as if a murder was planted that night. And that is when I'll let my mom kind of join in. And when we go to call the Ashen Order, I'll try to, like, Mama, like, of course we should call
Oriana, yeah.
Or Oriana. This would be a great break for her in her case.
Yeah, perfect. I like that a lot. I think so, and just for my bookkeeping, so the scene now is still gruesome. The occult items have been removed.
Yes.
But the occult items, if you or Oriana want to investigate, you still have access to them. They're still...
I still have
still
them.
exist. Yeah.
But the Bag of Holding, I'll, like, hide within my personal chambers because there's no reason that anyone would have authority to go search that.
Yeah, absolutely. And in addition, you do have the drawings of where everything once was.
Yes, and I'll leave my drawings in the Bag of Holding as well, so that way all the evidence is together and hidden.
Perfect. Cool. Good deal. Excellent. Question for Oriana.
Mm-hmm.
Oriana has her... Where does Oriana go to stay? She's kind of in an in-between spot in her life right now. Where does she lay her head to sleep?
I think tonight her dormitory over at the Guided Flame is closer, and she's had a long night, and she doesn't want to go back to the Ashen Order barracks in her gown, and so she's going to go back to the Guiding Flame for the night.
Gotcha.
And
Excellent.
wake up bright and early, wake up probably before the sun comes up to head back over there.
Perfect. Cool. Yep, so you are back at the Guiding Flame for the evening. Finally, Renshaw. You are home. Is there anything you would like to do before heading to bed?
Well, I'm not tired. And this evening has brought on many questions. But one in particular that I can answer. I never bothered looking through my grandfather's trunk.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So... what kind of paint stuff does he have in there?
Yeah, you go up to the attic, and you see the trunk that has all his stuff in it. You crack it open. Give me a investigation, perception check, something along there.
Investigation or perception, you said?
Yeah.
Well, that's a 13.
Oh, perfect. You crack open the chest. You go through it, and you see it is mostly full of books. They are like academic books of business and of the things that you would need to know to run a town, especially a town that does a lot of lumber imports, exports, a lot of geography things. There's scrolls of maps, anything from all of like Calidor large maps to like very individual spots of the forest and like Ethra's Grove, where like the good, like certain types of trees grow, different trails through the woods or paths. You have a bunch of ledgers where your grandsire Alanth was keeping all of his business records and transactions. But as you're moving through and you're going through, kind of, I imagine, hoping to find like art, because like you said, you never heard of him doing it. You look at this, and a 13 in perception investigation. You're looking at it, and you realize that the bottom of the chest is like higher than where it should be on the floor. Like it's not. You're looking at it like, oh, that doesn't line up.
Did I check for one of those in the desk?
Oh.
You felt pretty good. You said you looked around the desk and you rolled pretty decent. You didn't see any like secret drawers in the desk, but this looks odd.
Oh. Well, secret art.
Yeah.
I don't know that I want to see secret art. Never mind.
It's a dick pic, but like a painted one.
Like, oh, that's really good.
Enlarged
That's really
to whatever
good. You did a
size
really
you'd
good job.
Oh,
Oh, that's a self-portrait. That's funny. Yeah. Do you wanna crack through this false bottom of the chest?
I don't know if I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll find out what weird shit my grandpa was into.
Yeah, you are able to remove the false bottom, and in it are a couple things. You have the first thing you pull out is a journal. This journal is very old and worn. Flipping through it real quick, the first quarter looks like it is like personal journaling of your grandsire. It's his life, things that are going on in Ethra's Grove. But about a quarter of the way through, the paper switches. It's on a different type of paper. And it goes from being purely like a journal, an account of his life, to a mix between journaling and then diagrams with notes and sections written in runes scattered throughout. Can you read runes? Do you speak runic?
I did study linguistics. I genuinely could not tell you.
So at the moment, you cannot read these runes.
Okay.
Okay,
I was gonna say,
I
if you on
cannot
the
read
page
runes.
with your
in
inventory,
this
it's
second,
not there.
you cannot read these runes. The farther you get in the journal, however, the more frantic the handwriting gets. The more notes there are in the margins, the more things circled, things highlighted, sentences, paragraphs, like pages covered with your grandsire's handwriting, which again becomes more and more shaky and garbled and nonsensical, until you have entire pages of nonsensical scribblings and symbols and just the ravings of a madman by the time you get to the end of this book. However, something does catch your eye on the first page. If you could do me a favor and open the journal that was given, that you have received, to the very first page, and I believe it is the whole first page that you can read, if you could read it for the class.
Dear reader, before you is the autobiographical account of Alan Tyrval, Viscount to High Lord Caspian Blacksbane, and Lord Protector of Ethros's Grove, town of 1,000 woods. It is my wish that the thoughts and notions I lay into these pages may guide future leaders of this resilient town, prevent pitfalls I myself could not avoid, and allow my name to be remembered beyond my passing. Then there's a bit scribbled out. This collection of knowledge is invaluable. Some would seek this journal destroyed. Others would use this journal to reap destruction. The only thing more important than secrecy is that my work is understood. Vestra Onus.
A phrase that you do not understand yet, but has been seen once before.
Oh, I thought it was a name. Okay, it's a phrase. That makes a lot more sense.
It was at the signature.
It is in the exact same spot.
It looks like a signature.
It does look like a signature. So you have this journal in front of you. Moving aside real quick, you see also in this chest there is another journal of similar paper as the back 3/4 of your grandsire's journal. However, it is empty. It looks like it was meant to be used and didn't get to use it yet. And so there's an empty journal next to it. There are a handful of books in this secret compartment as well. There is one called The Runic Art by Grand Mage Urkaron. There is one called The Lines of Ley and How to Find Them by Marion Morning. And then finally, there is a signed copy of The Tales of Yuland Way by Halpin Gettybrook, which you would actually recognize. The Tales of Yuland Way is like a very common storybook for children. It's about this place called Yuland Way. It's a fictional town in Calidor that there's a bunch of stories of the children from this place that do go on fantastical adventures, and it's a very common children's book. But this is an original signed copy of Tales of Yuland Way.
That's so weird.
In addition,
honestly, that might it's all weird, but that might be the weirdest.
In addition,
banned magic artifact book. Children's story.
Signed children's
But why are they together? That's the part that's weird.
A great question. You also pull out, there is a beautiful purple robe in here. It has the tailoring and the stitching is done in the shape of the Tyrvald tree. It is custom made for a Tyrvald. It's this beautiful purple robe, very resemblant of a mage of Drayden's Academy, but clearly for a Tyrvald. And as you open this robe up, a weight you can feel sits in it. And as you move the cloth...
Oh, is it gonna be the weight thing from the vault?
No, not quite. The vault had a square imprint, and what is in your hand is perfectly spherical. You see made of almost black obsidian with almost seemingly random purple veins that snake throughout this beautiful stone. The veins, as you move your hand over it, almost glow as they feel the warmth of your hand and pulse as you move around it. You can feel the energy of this object, and you know that this is a sphere. A sphere that is, one, an incredibly powerful magical item. It is the arcane focus of a mage. And unfortunately, incredibly illegal in Alia
Yeah.
due to the betrayal of the mages a little over 50 years ago. But what you are holding is a sphere, and based on your limited knowledge of spheres, a powerful one at that. You don't know what it is. You don't know how, on what scale, but you have seen like wells, which are spheres that do limited magic, and they're usually, fairly small. And this is a heft larger than those, and it is beautiful. Where is Renshore? What is he thinking as he reveals this?
This is the
Beautifully
second
illegal
fucking
thing.
illegal thing I've been a part of today. I was hoping for beautiful art that my dad just didn't like. Fuck. How am I gonna go to sleep? The sphere and the journal go back in the fake bottom. Gonna close that back up, and I am going to take the 2 journals and the child's book with me. The child book is to fall asleep.
Oh, perfect.
Of course.
I will say, before you put everything away, as you're holding the sphere in your hand, you have the books kind of laid around you. As you reveal it in that purple glow as it seeps through the obsidian cracks, sheds a little bit of light on your face, and you're looking at it. You notice a drop of a schlop of that sticky, slimy substance that you saw in Eleanor's study lands on top of the sphere. And as you look up in the crook of the attic, just a single baleful eye gazes down, purple with the reflection of the sphere in your lap, and it releases from the ceiling, and as it falls towards you, we will end tonight's episode of City of Shadow.
It's a giant eyeball?
You've seen the eyeball. That's the only part you've seen so far.
Dude, you're gonna die. You're alone. Level 1, 9 hit points. Draft a new character, bitch. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
I got a big rock I could throw at it.
You have a whole
Throw at
you have a
it.
whole 9 HP, a whole 9 AC. You got plenty to work with.
Yeah, you're not going to bed, Renshore.
I'm not going to sleep.
I'm glad you're not
No
tired.
God bless ya.
Nope. But with that, we will end tonight's session. Again, if you want to know if Renshore survives his encounter with the monster in the attic, or if Jake gets to roll up a new character, make sure you like and subscribe to 4 Rings In, and tune next time for our next episode of City of Shadows.
Woo!